Rebellion Roads is a one-stop shop for everything e-bikes in Mount Pleasant and now Folly Beach. Today, I talk one-on-one with the founder and owner of Rebellion Roads, Ty Weatherby, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Ty Weatherby, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Obviously, you are the founder and the owner of Rebellion Roads, which is a one-stop shop for everything e-bikes. So let me ask you this, Ty. What's new, what's now with Rebellion Roads?
Well, when we last spoke, was just, more or less, what was that, 2021?
Yes, sir.
So we were actually, Charleston was experiencing sort of a stellar tailwind of tourism. So we were lucky enough to ride that same wave. And then similarly, being able to be outside was, people have been starting to want to do experiences more. And so that's probably the biggest news. We do have a brand new model of e-bike that's just delivered today from the Charleston port. So it arrived. I'm here in New Hope, Pennsylvania, another satellite location.
Okay.
We're here at Washington's Crossing.
Right.
We do rentals and tours up here as well. And so, and like Rebellion Roads, we are selling the experience of the local experience, where we show, visitors to these cities, the local routes, the hidden gems, the things that the people who live there choose to do instead of the tourist attractions.
What was that experience like for those locals and visitors prior to Rebellion Roads?
Prior to Rebellion Roads, everyone only had direct-to-consumer shopping. And we're starting to see lawsuits as a result of these direct-to-consumer brands. Rad Power Bikes, for example, which is who we used to work with. But they had supply problems, and because of that, we moved into our own. And what the problem with direct-to-consumer is the many buyers of an e-bike, it's their first e-bike. So they have no idea what it is, how to fix it, how to build it. And yet they're getting caught up shopping online and getting a bike in a box sent to them. Many of them can't even lift it or carry it to a bike shop. So that industry started to kind of fix that problem, but still sourcing of parts has always been a problem. And so before Rebellion Roads, you didn't have a local shop that could help you. Now, luckily, that Rebellion Roads is as good as it's become. It can fix any e-bike and does often. And we're seeing it more and more.
Well, how many e-bikes have you been able to fix thus far?
Oh gosh, we've fixed hundreds of every type of brand. We've started to finally turn away illegal e-bikes, e-bikes that are larger than 750 watts. South Carolina law calls those motor vehicles, and we don't work on them. And another thing is I don't really like Super 73 for the same reason. Looks like a motorcycle to me, and Rebellion Roads is always going to be a conscientious local brand. I don't want Charleston to feel like e-bikes are motorcycles. E-bikes are bicycles, and they really are helping bring visitors and locals to and from Charleston and its beaches in new and exciting ways with tons of scenic history and views.
So, Ty, let me ask you, I never knew about this, but when did the illegal e-bikes become an issue for you and your company and the rest of the e-bike industry?
Well, I like to say I'm looking ahead. So it's not an issue for me yet, but I'm planning, we're seeing the headlines. Since we last spoke, Simon Cowell, he hurt himself twice, I believe, on an e-bike. That was not an e-bike. Let me take that back.
Okay,
that was an electric motorcycle.
Okay.
And that's what I would like to, what's happening is e-bikes are actually becoming more commonplace. And as a result of that, whatever tiny issues with e-bikes there may be, we're going to start to see those incidents unless we're more careful. And those incidents be mismatch of charger to battery, too powerful of an e-bike for the wrong rider, kids riding in tandem. Yeah. These are things that, we predict will become problems, and so we don't allow them in our shops already.
And what are those other tiny issues that are really emerging right now that you're putting a stop to right now?
We won't work on an e-bike unless it's 750 watts or less. It's got to be a legal e-bike. Yes. Otherwise, we're going to tell you to go back to the manufacturer that you bought it from. That's the only thing that we aren't an electric motorcycle shop. We're not a golf cart. Right. We are a bicycle shop, and bicycles now in 2023 are electric.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me
or
ask
at least
you,
the new ones.
the new
Good.
ones, and you talk about obviously manufacturers. Let me talk to you about Rad Power Bikes, because obviously you worked with them in the past. Now you're not. So what were those supply problems that cause you all just to separate each other?
Rad Power Bikes uses proprietary parts, and so the only supplier to fix components that will fail eventually on any e-bike is Rad. And so the problem with that is as a single supplier, they can charge whatever they want. They can ship it at whatever time they want. And so that was one of the problems. And then the other problem is I didn't want Rebellion Roads to stand quality or to stand behind Rad. So Rad does have its flaws. Won't get into them unless you want me to. But I don't want those flaws to be Rebellion Road's flaws.
Right. So what flaws do you see right now, Ty, with the e-bike industry?
It's the direct-to-consumer, I think, we're not ready as a country for direct-to-consumer, like mass adoption of direct-to-consumer e-bikes, because the people buying e-bikes are in my experience, are mostly retirees, older. They're not like necessarily strong enough. That's a young strapping man that's going to want to lift an e-bike. That's about it. Not me. Right. I'm not young. And so, I think that we have to recognize that these people are getting large, heavy boxes sent to them. And then they're so they're first time e-bikers. So they're building their own e-bike, and it's definitely it's a bicycle that has an electric helper motor, and that's new. And so there's a learning curve for that, and it's being done, blindly. So when you shop local, at the very least, you learn how to ride that e-bike right there in front of the people that you're buying it from, and you have a home that's always able to fix it, no matter what.
Yes, indeed. I know firsthand that you all do that over at Rebellion Roads on Ben Sawyer. So let me ask you this. You've been in the business for a good minute here, Ty. So what learning curves are you still trying to get over?
The thing we face the most, and Rebellion Roads is, I feel like, organically formed to address the problems we've faced. And the thing we still face the most is it's hard to find a bike that fits a rider shorter than 5 feet. And there is still what is the word I'm looking for? There's an unnecessary fear of them. What we see is people who are afraid. They get on, they ride one lap, and we call it the e-bike smile. They're like, "Oh wow, that was easy." So it's kind of easier done than said, but still, you should learn. And finally, the law in South Carolina qualifies e-bikes as bicycles. Right. However, each local jurisdiction can do whatever they want, and but I don't know if they can or not. I don't really get into the law so much. Mount Pleasant, Sullivan's Island, Charleston has never given problems. They've been really supportive of the bicycling community. But if they wanted to, they could just say and wrongly state. The question is an e-bike a motor vehicle? And the answer to that is clearly in the law, no. But an ignorant or uninformed authority or official could just write a ticket and say, you rode a motor vehicle. And then we'd have to fight it and show them the law. So there's an education that needs to happen as well. And, and on both sides, the consumer, there's plenty of people out there riding illegal mopeds and in the bike lanes and acting like they're riding bicycles. For example, Suron as a brand. That's an electric dirt bike that people think is okay to ride on the road, and it's just muddying the waters legal e-bikes and illegal e-bikes, and I'm not supportive of it.
And you talk about the road. So if somebody were to use an e-bike, how should they go about riding it safely?
That's a good question. You ride as if you're, the best way to do that is ride as if your own kids are following right behind you. And how's that done? You pick safe routes. You try to be aware of, you're aware that of the rules of the road for bicycles, which means you can go on a sidewalk if you want. And, you know, if you feel a little worried on the road, go on the sidewalk, but know there are rules for that too. When you're on the sidewalk, you have to yield to cars coming out of their driveway, etc. You know, I just like to say Old Village is heaven on earth. We just don't have to, all you have to do is get to Old Village, and that's a great place to ride, no matter what.
Yeah. I did that right after I did the interview with you, and it was amazing not flying, but riding through that area.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's like sailing on a boat, but on land sailing.
Yes, absolutely, land sailing, indeed. And speaking of routes, as you know, this is a busy weekend here in Charleston with the Cooper River Bridge Run, particularly. So, how do you associate Rebellion Roads with the Cooper River Bridge Run?
Huge opportunity. That's how I see it. I haven't had the time to work with the officials at Cooper River Bridge Run, but we have crossed paths before, and both of us see the potential of using e-bikes to get runners to the starting point, because I actually used to live over there on Coleman Boulevard, almost right at the entryway.
Right.
People in my neighborhood would rent out their garage because it's hard to get to the entry to the starting line that early in the morning when the roads are closed.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But an e-bike can do it.
An e-bike can do it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So how do you hope to work with the Bridge Run on that in the future?
I guess I would hope that they see that it might be beneficial to perhaps in the race packet suggest e-bikes as an option to get to the starting point. Because all they would have to do is ride an e-bike, drop it, lock it. We do lock and leave technology.
Right.
It's a kind of a joke. That's, you lock your bike to whatever and tell us where you did. And lock it, and boom, we'll pick up that bike. And we could do a corral at the starting point, something like that. But it's very easy. It's much better than taking an Uber or walking, as I've done in the past, or renting a garage. It's an easy way to do it.
And you talk
and
about,
we have enough bikes. We have hundreds of bikes. So I mean, unless every single Cooper River Bridge Run are booked, even still, I have a container. I definitely would pop open those brand new bikes and make it happen.
So let me ask you, what is your current fleet right now?
We make our bikes as accommodating as possible. So our existing fleet was fat tire full size e-bikes, step through folding fat tire e-bikes, and the electric town and country.
Right.
And the electric town and country was our perfect bike for that first time rider that was really nervous, and the fat tire full size was the perfect bike for that, plenty tall, like taller than 5'4", rider who's not nervous at all. And then the step through folding one was like the middle of the road, perfect for everyone. And now we have a full-size step-through. We're starting to try to move away from that ubiquitous fat tire wheel that makes it so obviously an e-bike. And so we've got a 3-inch wheel, no, a 2.5-inch tire, but it's moped rated. So we're hopeful that stops flats cold turkey. But if it doesn't, we'll figure out a way eventually.
And so going forward, how many more of those bikes do you feel that will be moped rated in the future?
The tires are only moped rated, not the bike.
Right.
The bike is a bicycle with moped. The moped rated means the rubber is very tough and capable. And that's something to note too. Is more often e-bikes need to start considering the rubber they're on. There are e-bike ratings now for tires and helmets, and so again, these are things that are coming and that I'm thinking about now, at least.
Yes. So, let me ask you then: what tires will be ideal in the future for those bikes?
What ti it's up to user preference. I really there's this tire I love called the V tire company Zigzag. It looks sort of like, the California Cruiser Zigzag flat rubber. It's a fat tire and it's e-bike rated and I love it. I love it. But my guys at the shop, they hate it.
Oh.
Nobody buys them. So it's, I love it, but it's really up to the consumer. But at our shop, we try to stock. We are an exclusive electric bike company, so we'll be stocking electric bike rated tires.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. So you talk about the consumer tire. Let me ask you one last question. What exactly are the consumer needs and wants right now when it comes to e-bikes?
They want reliability. They want affordability because prices have dropped. What happened is in 2020, as we moved into the the previous year's stock had to get sold off. So everyone does their sales in the winter, and then so that they can buy more inventory. But that still does drop prices a little bit. So the consumer still wants affordable prices, and they want intuitive e-bikes. They used to be looking for the most powerful and the most mean-looking e-bike. Now I think there's more of a focus on comfort and the right bike for the right rider, not too aggressive. I hope that's what we're trying to get toward, kind of cruiser style e-bikes that are. And honestly, I wish all e-bikes were step through. That's something I really love because as you start to load up the rear rack, that gets high. You can't even throw your leg over that. Right. So you step through. I consider e-bikes as a mode of transportation to really explore. That's for what I use them for.
And I hate to be redundant because you mentioned this probably in the interview already, but what is your best-selling bike right now?
Our best-selling bike right now it's either our full-size fat tire e-bike or our Town and Country, our electric Town and Country. Yeah. And the reason for that is many reasons. I mean, the full-size fat tire e-bike is 750 watts, 48 volts, 13 amp hours. So it's like the maximum legal, everything fully loaded. And we charge $1,550 for that one. But I think in 2023, moving forward, we're going to start selling more of the step-through full sizes. These new ones, they're not online yet, but you can rent them. They're out there. They're on our Instagram and whatnot.
And you talk about affordability. How much has prices dropped compared to 2020?
I used to say around 2020, 1,500 was the floor. And now you can see like there's $600 e-bikes out there, and those when you get a $600 e-bike, that's a really tiny e-bike, but the sad reality is there's the right person for that too, a short person. Yeah. If you're shorter than 5 feet, guess what? There's a cheap e-bike out there for you. But the it's dropped about $200. It's $1,500 used to be the same bike can be had for a little bit less, maybe $100 or $200.
Wow!
And the same specs,
same, yeah. And rentals, how's that doing right now for you all?
Charleston rentals are booming because Charleston's just such a great place to visit, and so we really just and we try our hardest to make it an experience, not just a rent. We're not a bike rental company.
Right.
Rebellion Roads is a brand that is a Charleston brand, and the story behind it, I think I said the last time, it's a historical place in Charleston, and we tell local stories. And so that part of the business is what we specialize in. Everything else is a corollary or derived just to do that first part thing better.
So you have the brand, you have your story, you have the experience. So how do you compete with something, say, like, obviously Lime?
Yeah. So, every time I see a Lime bike ride down East Bay, as I'm getting on 17, I say, this poor soul, didn't talk. That's the faceless, nameless business that didn't care whether you live or die. They just are going to take your money and not that's not. I don't compete with them. I show them. I show riders a experience for that rider. It's not faceless. You are going to meet a local and get some stories and learn where to go, and not like that. And so, I think moving forward, I push. Even when riders don't want to buy one of my e-bikes, I say shop local. And Lime Bikes, they're probably doing just fine. And, I'm happy for them in that they're bringing bike awareness to Charleston. And we are starting to see more and more e-bikers and they're doing the pedestrian bridge over the river and the all kinds of incredible bike projects are getting greenlit. In Mount Pleasant as well. I'm noticing even on Mathis Ferry, they repaved the road there. Right. And e-bikes there's all kinds of great networks throughout the area that are too long to maybe bicycle or walk, but an e-bike, you can take them and you can cut through from Mathis Ferry to Shem Creek very easily. Just go by way of Trader Joe's. You're faster than a car.
Exactly. Oh, yes, for sure. I've done that a lot myself. But let me ask you, you have your business established here and, of course, up north. So where else do you want to expand Rebellion Roads to?
Oh, the other news is we're in Folly Beach this year.
Wow.
We are working with Folly Beach Adventure Sports, Folly Beach Adventures rather, and Will over there, and he has been on Folly for 12 years, and he has that same. I'm obsessed with customer experience as he can be, and so knows the routes. At perfect location. So we're already up and running in Folly, and then he being just like another Charleston tourism business. We had a good year in 2021. He's thinking about expanding to when you're in the tourism business, everyone thinks Florida. And so the nice part about expanding in Florida is that's even a bigger market. As great as Charleston is, he's got even a bigger market down there that he's addressing too, growing there. And we're going with them. So he's renting e-bikes and doing e-bike sales out there. And so we're excited about that because what's funny about Florida and Charleston is that in the winter, we see Floridians come up to Charleston because they're escaping the crowds that have gone to Florida in the winter.
Yes,
and so it's nice as a tourism business, the industry business owner, to have business in Florida because we do have a little bit of a winter season.
Yes.
And that's, there's a slowdown. But sometimes it's nice. We regroup and plan ahead.
And what else are you planning ahead for when it comes to Rebellion Roads?
Planning just to make the most easy to use, best e-bike possible and deliver the greatest tourism experience in Charleston and every other city we're in. It doesn't have to always be e-bikes. I'm thinking very long-term and short-term as far as I believe in tourism, and I'm going to and experiences, and I'm going to lean heavily into that.
That's amazing. Well, we hope to see you down in Jacksonville and Tampa and beyond in Florida as well. But Ty Weatherby with Rebellion Roads, thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much, Quintin. Every time I see you when I'm on a ride, I love it. It's fun to say hello to you on the streets.
Likewise. I'll see you in Mount Pleasant soon.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Bye.